Hello people, today we are talking about how to manage an emotional flashback and euphoric recall, because that's shit important. How to manage an emotional flashback while it's happening in the moment and you are panicking and you don't know what to do and it's overwhelming and it's all over the place and you feel like you're going through so much feelings and it's just so overwhelming. That's the way to describe it. It's messy and it's not the best feeling in the world. It's actually not even close to this. And you see all this, not see, but you remember all this stuff that you've done with the narcissist, and you remember all of the stuff that the narcissist has done to you, and you remember random things from your relationship or your friendship or just the moments that you spent with your narcissist, and you remember this stuff. Like, you don't recall them because you want to, you just recall them because something triggered it. And how to deal with an emotional flashback? First of all, you have to recognize that this is an emotional flashback. To be aware is key thing to just know. You have to recognize what's happening with you. You have to recognize if your heart starts beating faster, if your memories start flowing, and if you start sweating. Well, sweating doesn't count now because it's hot as fuck outside, but you know what I mean. If you start getting overly anxious and sudden drop of the mood, like, you know the drill, it's not nice at all. And when you feel this stuff, you recognize, oh, I have a flashback. So now, what do I do now? There are a few things that we have to keep in mind in order to calm ourselves down in such situations. For example, I am no longer affected by these situations that I'm recalling right now. These situations, no matter what it is, it may be like when the narcissist was abusing you or when they were humiliating you. The humiliation is sick. Like, I wish someone could humiliate them the way they humiliate other people. Yeah, and you could think about this, that this humiliation and this abuse and the words that the narcissist has been using to address you don't affect you in any way. Excuse me, J-Hope, I can't see. So it doesn't really affect you in any way. It's in the past, and I'm not saying this in an invalidating way. Like, you know, leave past in the past, past is in the past, and you should let go of the past. That's what people tell survivors of narcissistic abuse, yeah, because they don't really know that it's not that fucking easy. Just leave it in the fucking past. I wish I could, bitch. Anyway, you just have to remind yourself that you're not defined by this situation and by this person and by this person's opinion, because we do not care about the narcissist, okay? We do not care. Like, we are free now, that's all that fucking matters. And we don't care where they are, what they do, what they don't do, and whatsoever. As long as they don't contact us, it's fine, it's okay, it's great. And we're going with our lives just like they're going with theirs, and we do not think about this. But in a moment of flashback, we come to think about it and to have emotional reactions connected to our thoughts and memories. Because when we don't remember something, it's the emotional basis that is left for us to experience. So you get a hold of yourself, you tell yourself, I'm having a flashback. You can also say it out loud if you need to, I mean, if you're not out in public, which also happens. And you tell yourself, I'm having a flashback, but the memories that come to my mind are not affecting me anymore. I mean, I'm free of this bullshit. I'm free of this bullshit. You just remind yourself this. The narcissist doesn't have any power over you anymore, and you are free to be who you truly are, and not under the control of this motherfucker. After we've had our monologue about how this is not affecting us in any way anymore, and the memories are just like, we should perceive them as pictures, as memories. It's not something that we should look deeper into. Like, we may have some emotional reactions and attachments still, but it's not anything deeper than this. Like, we stop here. We just know that it doesn't affect us. It's literally meaningless to try and find a deeper connection. Why do we have these thoughts? Why do I have these thoughts? Does that mean that I'm still having feelings for the narcissist? Does that mean that they are thinking about me too? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean this. It means that you're having an emotional flashback and you should give yourself time to calm down. And when you calm down, you can look at the stuff from a more clear perspective, if you know what I mean. Like, you can look at the things that happen from an educated point of view and not solely only, and not only. I'm trying to pronounce complicated words. Who are you and why are you here? Do you want something from me? I don't think you do, unless it's a psychological advice. Anyways, and then you give yourself time to calm down. Even if you feel like it, you could cry. I mean, don't suppress your emotions if they pop up. If you wanna cry, just cry. Crying is cleansing. Crying cleanses your... I feel like I'm saying this wrong, but whatsoever. Crying cleanses your energy, your body, your eyes, obviously, your whole energy, like the vibe you radiate. Crying is magical. I don't know why people are so negatively настроены towards crying. Negatively looking upon crying. I should practice my English more. But I don't understand. What do people have against crying that is so bad? Like it's some demonic ritual that you're doing when you're literally just cleansing your soul. It's this. It's nothing else than this. And it's not fucking embarrassing to cry, even if it's in fucking public. I do not care. I do not care. And you shouldn't care either. I thought that I don't have earrings for a second, but now I have them in my rings. And now let's talk about the Euphoric Recall. There are different things that can be done, like different practices, meditation, including. When you have a Euphoric Recall, the memories in your head are more positive. Like you think of the positive stuff, you think of the positive memories with your narcissist and you get emotional because you no longer have these memories and you realize that you will never ever get to experience these memories ever again. Which is very sad by itself, like looking at it from an emotional point of view. By looking at this from your emotions, of course that you're gonna get sad. It's sad. But when you turn off your emotions a little bit and turn to the logical thinking, what do you gain from these memories? You gain pain only. You gain trauma, you gain pain, and these memories were nothing more but a manipulation. Like the good times were nothing more but a manipulation, and no one can tell you otherwise. And who tries to tell you otherwise, tell them to fuck off. Like, just don't listen to this bullshit. People might tell you, oh, but they're like this, but it's just in the beginning, you know, a relationship can't be perfect, a relationship will always have conflicts, and a relationship this and that, and they will throw their advice everywhere, and you will start to think that you were guilty even more than you have thought it before, because we know very well that we feel guilty about everything while in a narcissistic relationship, and afterwards we feel guilty because we're leaving a person, but we're doing the decision because we need to save ourselves, obviously, and we can't live in this hell forever. And like at some point we have to get out of the relationship. And when we do this, it's freeing, but a lot of stuff, negative stuff come with this, but the positive are more than the negative. There is an advice that is supposed to help you ground and to help you bring you back down to earth, back to reality, not in this imaginary world where everything is magical and perfect, but in reality. And in reality, everything is way better than it used to be while you were with the narcissist. And that's a fact. I don't need to be a professional to know that fact for a fact, like it is one. Because when you escape this relationship, it just feels so freeing, and you better think about this aspect of it. And you need to try to ground yourself in the moment when you were experiencing some recalls from the good times and stuff, and you have to say yourself, like, I'm remembering the good times again, I know that this is not helping me, I know that this is not gonna lead to anything good, and so I will try to stay focused on the present moment. And you consciously navigate your thought process to just keep you in the present, not keep you stuck in the fucking past. And even if it doesn't happen that often, it's just good to know the techniques. For example, people advise to go barefoot. I've always thought that going barefoot somewhere is just healing. And you need to go barefoot somewhere, it's just literally gives you a sense of grounding, possibly in a garden or on the road or in the space that you're in right now also works. Like just barefoot walking is healing. All kinds of tea here can come in service because tea is calming. That's why it's so recommended to drink as a something that is supposed to make you feel better and calm you down, which is actually true. It does calm you down, and that's why so much people in the Asian countries drink it. I'm not saying that we don't drink it too. In Russian drink it too. Russian tea and pastries. So, other ways to stay grounded. To stay grounded. I can't talk. Why is that? You feel your clothes. You feel something that is around you. You feel this. You feel that. And you feel the texture. You're just in the present moment, and it brings you in the present moment. Like you focus on this thing and you feel it and you stay grounded. Like this is not the best example, but you know what I mean. Like this stuff, they are uneven and they are long and they are nice, they're cool. They are in the present, they are not in the past, that's what matters. Take a bite of something, like to eat something, no matter what it is, and just feel the taste and describe it, and like with details, okay? Because you need to get your mind off of the place that you're about to get in, and we don't want this. That's why we are distracting ourselves and we are shifting our focus, shifting our attention to somewhere else, and also drawing, writing, getting it out. Like just do creative stuff. Creative stuff always helps. Doesn't matter if you feel like nothing good is gonna come out of this. Doesn't matter if you feel like your works won't be enough, because we are often insecure about this, but it doesn't matter. Just create something. Art is not perfect. Art is perfect by itself, by not being perfect. Meditation, but in the moment of happening, like when you're trying to keep yourself from getting lost in the abyss of memories, meditation is probably not the best decision. But afterwards, like, you will keep it in the back of your mind that you have to do meditation. You could ground your mind so that you get into these moments of recalls and flashbacks more rarely. Grammar. Another thing that you could do is to share with a friend. But be careful, especially in the beginning, when you get out. And then you feel the sudden urge to get your mind and thoughts in order because it's all over the fucking place. You feel like you've been under a hypnosis and you feel like you need some sort of order in order to function normally, because you've been functioning on too high levels of serotonin and I don't know how to say it in English, I'm sorry. I think it's cortisol, probably the hormone of stress. And when you're living on these things too much, it gets too much for your mind and body, and it's exhausting. And when you get out of this, you want to find some sort of peace, and you start to share what you've been through frantically with the people around you. And guess what happens then? The people around you are being pushed away by this sudden change of your behavior, because they don't really get what was happening back then, and you don't get what you're doing by talking so much, and there is no one that can tell you stop, don't talk so much about it. It hurts you just as much as it helps you. Actually, I think that if someone is your real friend, they will not get pushed away if you share this information with them. When a person doesn't know what else to do, like, that's what they do. They talk for the stuff that were happening, that were going wrong in this relationship, because it was fucking unimaginable. It was insane. Like the narcissists, they are insane if they don't work in therapy and become aware. I mean, I don't blame anyone for anything, just for the pain. I wouldn't look upon narcissists in such a negative way if they didn't cause pain, but they cause pain. So I don't tolerate this, and I don't think you should. No one should tolerate this. If we don't tolerate this, it will disappear. I think, at least so. I hope at least so. Because if we learn how to manage this and not like be codependent on narcissists, then at some point they will be left with no person to get their narcissistic supply from. But as I imagine how much codependent people there are on this planet, and how much people uneducated and who don't know about narcissism are on this planet, and how much people do not listen to their intuition enough, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So I'm grateful for channels like Dr. Ramani and for everyone who just brings up the topic. It's a great way to bring awareness to narcissistic abuse. So I hope you found this video educational and interesting, maybe, and in some case I hope it helped you if you didn't know that these things are manageable, these things are not impossible to deal with. Like, you just have to know how to do so, and of course you're gonna struggle in the beginning, but then you get to master it. Like, when you repeat something over and over and over and over again, you eventually learn how to do it better. So you won't be so stressed, exhausted, and you won't struggle so much the next time you do it. That's how you manage not to get into a breakdown or into a crying session because of some flowing memories from the past. And I know it's tempting, I know that, because crying feels good and it's tempting to cry, but not for this reason. Like, I mean, sometimes we shouldn't refrain ourselves from crying though, because it's healthy. So cry, but don't get into a state where you cry constantly and are aware that you have emotional flashbacks and euphoric recalls, and you just keep on tolerating this thing and keep on thinking that it may lead to some sort of change, because no, it's not gonna lead to any sort of change. I mean, it doesn't affect you in any way. Look at it from this side. It doesn't affect you in any way now. You're free to do whatever the fuck you want. And it doesn't affect you. Like, you can go and get another boyfriend and girlfriend. You can go and just be yourself. You can do that thing that the narcissist told you you're never gonna do. A lot of people actually advise people to go and do stuff that their narcissist told them not to do. So that's a great way to start. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!